has seen with my eyes. In a wonderful town, there lived a woman named Eucharia. She was to be married to one James. James was a mechanic, a difficult man, a sadist, while Eucharia was a beautiful lady, the only daughter of a rich man who sold spare parts in the spare part market. Eucharia was beloved as the only daughter of 4 boys by her parents, but she was not an obedient child. Why? Because she threw caution to the wind. She followed men. She didn't listen to her parents. After her university education, she met James, a mechanic, when she went to fix her car. Before time, she started following James. Her parents frowned against that relationship. They cautioned her, but she didn't listen. She didn't know she was going down a deep, dark pit that she would not survive. And so it was that James claimed he fell in love with Eucharia. While in the real sense, James discovered how rich and influential Eucharia's parents were. And him, being that he's from a poor background, wanted to use her as an avenue to escape his long poverty lineage. Eucharia didn't know. She was carefree. So she continued to follow James. When they became friends, it gradually grew into a serious relationship. Eucharia claimed to have fallen in love with James. She spent her father's money on James, polishing James to look like a man from a respectable home. She packaged James so good that when she presented James to her family as an engineer, they believed James. And though they frowned against that union, they said, well, let them watch. As time went on, they discovered that Eucharia often wore glasses. She would have bruises on her eyes, bruises on her body. She would lie. She fell. She would lie. She got an accident. She would just keep lying, not knowing that James has been beating Eucharia. Not until one day, James impregnated Eucharia. Eucharia kept the pregnancy. Of course, she had graduated. She was ready to settle down. She saw the handwriting on the wall, and instead of her to leave the relationship, she kept on with that relationship. And so it was that James beat her one fateful day after she must have given birth to one baby. He beat her so hard that she almost fainted. But then she hid it from her parents. One fateful day again, when she went to see her parents saw the scars on her body. They were not happy with what they saw. They concluded that perhaps she's hiding stuff from them. They warned her to stay away from James if James had been beating her, and she doesn't want to tell. But she said no, nothing of such happened. One fateful day, James came back from work and asked for food. Eucharia told him, you didn't keep any money for food. Why are you asking for food when you didn't drop any? Well, she still went in and brought a plate of fufu and egusi soup for James to eat. As James was eating, there was no meat in the soup. James looked at her and said, "No meat in the soup?" Eucharia said, "I only managed to make this meal so you can have something to eat. There was no money to buy meat for the soup." James stood up with a heavy blow. He blew Eucharia in the eye, and the eye collapsed. Blood gushed out. People came out. James called people to come and help. They carried Eucharia to the hospital. Eucharia's eyes, the eye was swollen in red. There was no money for James to pay for her treatment. Eucharia's parents were informed. They hurriedly came, paid the bill, and started the treatment of Eucharia. So when the treatment commenced in the teaching hospital, they could not save Eucharia's left eye. The eye was lost. They removed Eucharia's eye because of the blow Mr. James had inflicted on her. Mind you, all this while, Eucharia and James were not legally married. They were cohabiting. So it was that Eucharia lost her left eye. When James came to the hospital to visit Eucharia's parents, the father, slapped James and beat James up. For Eucharia's father was a strong, brave man. People came and separated and asked him to calm down. That was how Eucharia's father arrested James and locked him up for gender abuse and violence. Eucharia's eye was lost permanently because her parents had money to pay for medications and every other. The doctor suggested that since Eucharia was a young lady, a replacement can be found for her eye by using a cow's eye as replacement. And so it was in those days they used cow eyes, not now that technology has advanced that you can actually get a human eye for replacement. So a cow eye was bought, a fake eye actually was bought for Eucharia's eye. They replaced that fake eye with Eucharia's eye. And though Eucharia could not see with that eye, she looked a bit normal. Eucharia lived with her daughter and went further in her education. She stayed away from men and refused to marry to this day. Moral of the story: don't suffer any abuse from any man or woman. If there is any incidents of abuse, report immediately. Don't stay in an abusive relationship. Always listen with wisdom, care, and use your brain to reason out facts. Do your findings when you are in any relationship to ascertain the true state of that person. James was later freed and he continued his work in the mechanic shop. Nobody knew what happened to him. Rumor has it that he left the town and went to another place to work. Here ends my story. I hope you will plant a thing or two from it. Please like and subscribe to my channel.